This is Marcy Anderson with the Fishing Report for Southeast Kentucky. The recent cold snap has brought on a game of red light, green light for fish on area lakes. On Laurel River Lake, water temperatures were running in the low 50s but have dropped back into the mid to upper 40s following the cold front. The water has a lot of color to it and it is stained down past flatwoods. Walleye have moved back out into the deeper water, but we are starting to see some fish come back into the wooded coves earlier in the week. Prior to the temperature drop, we were seeing good numbers of smallmouth bass on Rocky Main Lake points, and largemouth bass were being picked up around woody cover. On Lake Cumberland, water temperatures were running in the mid-40s on the lower end of the lake. Fish were still out in deeper water, but we were starting to see some walleye gather up along the riprap on the dam for spawning. Some nice striped bass are being picked up in the main creeks from the surface down to 30 feet of water. They are actively feeding on live shad. On the upper end of the lake, the water is muddy and there is a fair amount of floating woody debris on the lake, so please use extra caution when out on the water. On the Cumberland tailwater, the flows have been variable during the day, but there have been periods of lower flows that are more conducive to fishing. Water temperatures were running in the mid-40s. We did see some skipjack in the area near the dam, but with the cold temperatures recently, it might take some time before we start to see numbers pick up. Trout and catfish stockings are ongoing across the state in Finns Lakes. Within the district, Brickyard Ponds in Barberville were stocked with channel catfish, and Logan Hubble Park near Stanford was stocked with trout. Rainbow trout were also recently stocked into Daniel Boone National Forest streams. In addition, the Laurel River Lake tailwater was also stocked with trout. So as always, good luck and good fishing.
This is Jeremy Shiflett with a fishing update from the Northwestern District. Rough River Lake is about a foot above winter pool. Water temperatures are in the mid-50s. Bass fishing is fair and should be picking up. A lot of fish are still holding a bit offshore. Target large rock and standing timber 5 to 15 feet deep. Crappie fishing has been good. Fish have been 2 to 12 feet deep on structure. Hair jigs, tube jigs, and minnows are all working. A few hybrid striped bass can be caught in the lake. Once you find a school, use swim baits and rattle traps. Hybrids can also be caught pretty well in the tailwater right now when flow is appropriate using those same baits. Nolan River Lake is bouncing up and down a foot or two above winter pool. Again, water temperatures are hovering in the mid-50s. The water is pretty clear on the lower lake, but has much more color starting around Red Rock and up. Bass fishing is fair. Again, fish are staging pre-spawn, so they're a bit offshore. We saw a good number of fish in standing timber 5 to 15 feet deep this week. Crappie fishing has been good. Fish have been 2 to 10 feet deep on structure on the main lake and standing timber in the creeks. A few walleye are being caught in the upper river. Bank anglers should target riffle areas with some good current at and downstream of Broad Ford and Wheeler's Mill Bridge. A few white bass have moved up into the river, but not quite in mass like they will be here in the next little bit. White and chartreuse swim baits and curly-tail grubs, along with inline spinners, are cheap, easy options for catching just about anything in the upper river this time of year. Prop drive boats will have difficulty getting past that riffle just upstream of Bacon Creek. Bass and crappie fishing is picking up in the state lakes and Peabody WMA lakes. For bass, target woody and rock structure 3 to 8 feet deep. Similarly, for crappie, look for fish on woody structure 2 to 10 feet deep. At some of the lakes, such as Carpenter Lake, 8 to 9 inch crappie are still roaming open water in large schools, so once you find that school, you can catch a mess pretty quickly. Trout were stocked last week in Otter Creek on the ORA and Fort Knox. Channel catfish were stocked this week in Finns Lakes in Owensboro and Litchfield. Remember, the creel limit is 4 catfish per person per day at those Finns Lakes. Things are continuing to heat up throughout the district. Keep an eye out for changing water and weather conditions this time of year. Wear your life jacket while on the water. Good luck and stay safe.
This is Caleb Bentley with the Kentucky Stocking Report. This week across the state, we stocked brook trout and channel catfish. Brook trout were stocked in the Cumberland tailwaters. Channel catfish were stocked in the upper and lower Sportsman's Lake, Robert J. Barth Lake, Alexandria Lake, Jacobson Park Lake, Miles Park, both Anglers Lake and Green Heron, Waverly Park Lake, Scott County Park Lake, Lusby Lake, Easy Walker Park Lake, James D. Beeville Lake, Jesse Thornton Lake, Millennium Park Lake, Anderson County Park Lake, Camp Ernst Lake, Middleton Mills Park, both the Long Pond and the Shelter House Pond, Lake Mingo, Southland Church Lake, Whitehall Park Lake, Kess Creek Park Lake, Lake Montgomery, Rotary Park Lake, Wayman Morris Lake, Panther Creek Park Lake, Yellow Creek Park Lake, and Brickyard Park Lake. Good luck fishing. Stay safe.